The Galactic Academy of Kether Prime prided itself on teaching the unteachable. It was a crucible where cadets of dozens of species learned not only weapons and tactics, but the art of coexistence. Instructors often employed strange lessons, using live creatures to test instincts and discipline. But no one expected what happened the day predator cubs were brought into class. The cadets were seated in their circular hall when the doors hissed open. Instructors led in 6 Siberian cubs, creatures destined to grow into apex hunters of their world. Even as cubs, their elongated jaws and silver-black fur radiated menace. Their eyes glowed with predatory focus, and a hush fell over the room. The lesson was simple: test the cadets' composure. The young predators would sniff, circle, and judge. Fear meant weakness. Overconfidence meant danger. The instructors had warned them: stand still, hold discipline, show respect. The cubs padded into the room, claws clicking softly against the floor. First, they approached the scaled Theric cadet. He stood rigid, tail stiff, but the cubs lost interest and moved on. Next, they inspected the delicate feathered Verisi twins. The twins cooed nervously, and the cubs growled before turning away. Every cadet was tested. Some were ignored, some sniffed, some warned with low rumbles. The instructors watched closely, recording every reaction. And then the cubs saw him. Cadet Elias Ward of Ur sat near the back, posture casual but alert. He didn't flinch as the pack approached. He didn't avert his gaze nor challenge theirs. He simply waited, breathing slow, calm, steady. The first cub padded up and stopped. It sniffed his boots, then his hands. Elias extended one open palm, not to pet, not to lure, just to offer. To everyone's shock, the cub pressed its head against his hand. A second cub curled at his side, tail flicking lazily. Within moments, all 6 predators had abandoned the rest of the class and gathered around the human cadet, sitting beside him as though he were their chosen packmate. The hall filled with disbelief. The Verisi twins hissed in jealousy. The Theric cadet's scales rippled with unease. Even the instructors exchanged confused glances. "Instructor Kale," one cadet protested, "this is a breach of protocol. They're ignoring the rest of us." But the cubs would not move. One lay across Elias's boots, another rested its jaw in his lap. When an instructor tried to call them back with a sharp whistle, the cubs flattened their ears and growled, a warning, not to the instructor, but to anyone who might try to separate them from the human. Elias glanced up, sensing the tension. "I didn't do anything," he said evenly. "They came to me." The lead instructor, Kale, a veteran of countless survival campaigns, narrowed his eyes. "You didn't have to do anything," he said slowly. "That's the point." The session ended early. The cubs refused to leave Elias's side, so the instructors allowed them to remain, taking notes furiously. Word of the incident spread across the academy within hours. Humans were already regarded as unpredictable, resilient, adaptable, sometimes reckless. But this? Predator cubs choosing a human over every other cadet? That struck deeper than rumor. Some cadets whispered it was a trick, that Earthlings used pheromones or hidden devices. Others muttered that predators recognized predators. But a few, especially the younger ones, began to wonder if there was something older at play, an instinct that bridged species. That night, as Elias sat in the dorm commons, the cubs still lingered near him, dozing in a protective circle. A Theric cadet finally asked what everyone wanted to know. "Why you? Why them?" Elias shrugged. "Maybe they don't see what species I am. Maybe they just see if someone's worth sitting beside." He glanced at the sleeping cubs, a faint smile crossing his face. "They don't follow orders. They choose." And though no instructor confirmed it, the lesson was clear. Strength wasn't just in weapons or discipline. Sometimes It was in being the one that even predators trusted. From that day forward, no cadet looked at Elias Ward the same way.